Greetings, Marsh here, and welcome to episode 47 of my modded Factorio playthrough. Enjoy. So it just occurred to me that while we're waiting for the belts to fill back up with iron, we should probably work on our next research. And what's the next research? Well, this is kind of a turning point in our factory. See that we only have 128k left, and once that runs out, it's out. So we need to research a way to go further away from our base to look for resources, especially since we've done so much scanning and now we have access to all this information about where we could go. That basically requires a vehicle, and there's kind of two different vehicles you can go for. You can go for the game's stock car, which is useful, but why do that when you could take advantage of Angel's crawler construction vehicle? It's like a little truck rover that you can go around, and it has a ton of space in it. And it has a vehicle construction roboports. You can have robots, basic robots, but real, honest, reusable robots. So that's kind of what we're looking for here. And regardless, the first step is an engine, because they require that, and it's fairly detailed, or it's fairly difficult research, so we might as well get that going now. I think that should be enough wood for now. Yeah, looks like it. We're covered on wood for a while. Is power doing okay? Seems to be. Alright, so iron is filled up again. Yep, now it's just, just barely starting to fill up the machines up at the top. We okay on sulfur dioxide? Yes. We filled up on hydrogen. Nope. Hydrogen's good. So while we're waiting for this, one thing we can do is replace any yellow belts with red belts where they would be needed. And for now, I'm just going to handcraft these things. Although, I don't think I performance tested this setup yet to see if it was balanced. So let's do that, just very short periods of time. Let's see if that's balanced. Seems like it because it's gear limited, so that seems balanced. Let's fire this one up. Yep, that's balanced. I'm just not going to produce this stuff because it takes a ton of iron. Like, let's look at 2 underground belts is 102 iron. So that's like 5,000 iron plates to have one stack, I believe, unless I'm just totally doing that wrong. Let me double check. Well, I guess a stack is 50. So we need 25 of this. So it's 2,500. So one stack is 2,500 of these, which when you look at sapphirite, we're only getting half of that sapphirite is turning into iron. So that's the equivalent of 5,000 sapphirite just to have a stack of fast underground belts that we don't even really need right now. So that's why I am not filling up my inventory. I'm just leaving these in place, but not having them run. So when we do have the research, or when we do have the resources, that looks good, we can fill up our inventory just by selecting how many we want. But for now, I guess I'll handcraft a bunch of them. Anywhere where one resource turns into many resources is a bottleneck. So right here, 1 copper plate goes in, but 2 wires go out. I believe that it's possible that if this was performance tested, it would actually not have a performance output. Same with these. That we wouldn't be able to maintain this. I don't know. I don't think it's worth picking up a whole bunch of circuits to find out, but a very easy preventative measure is just to replace all of that with red. See, look how many gears this uses. It's just crazy. So let's just replace these preemptively with red. Let's see, what else? Those are pretty good. We're just looking for potential bottlenecks here. That's one. We have 2 belts because we have more output than 1 belt can hold, so we could revert this to a single belt setup. Alright, engines are done, so that means we could work on making those engines. But in the meantime, we need to work on our crawler. And for some reason, it's behind vehicle equipment, which requires you to use a generator, a burner generator, to research it anyway. And what this thing is will make sense later, but just know that you have to research it first. So we don't need this, and yeah, don't need much of any of that. That can be fast, and those can be fast. So let's put a fast one there. This can be slow. These need to be fast. I'll upgrade those to fast as well. Probably doesn't need to be. But anytime two yellow belts combine on converge on a point, and you want output, then usually you should go for reds, because one red belt is 26.6 items per second, which is exactly twice as fast as a yellow. So that's kind of my thought process there. I think that's basically it. We really didn't have any throughput problems before, because our factory was designed explicitly around the yellow belt. So we don't really have any situations where we were previously bottlenecked by yellows. It all looks pretty good from here. How are we doing on stone? 3.6, and so about 10,000 stones. Crushed stones, that seems pretty good, so we had no risk of running out of carbon dioxide, which is turns into our fuel. Let's make these engines. We don't have to make them in a machine. We can build them by hand. Where are they? Intermediate. But they take forever. 10 seconds an engine. It just takes so long to make them if you're making them by hand. And we're going to need a bunch of them, so I'd like to automate it. Now the question is how many engines do we want to make? Well, let's look at the ratio. I'll just space it, because I believe that the engines basically are just iron, steel, and some components, so it's going to look probably kind of weird here, but oh well. Alright, so if we look at an engine, it requires gears and pipes, both of which are made out of iron. So one gear machine will make 1.5 wheels a second. One pipe machine is going to make the same. Yeah, 1.5 pipes per second. So the question is how many engine machines can this support? I'll put one space there. See, one of these engine machines requires very little per second, since the crafting speed is so long. It only needs 2 wheels every 10 seconds, but at a speed of 0.75, so it only needs 0.15. So if you're going for a perfect ratio, you can actually have 10 engine machines, which is just these 2 component machines. But we don't need that many engines. Even though they take forever, we just don't need that many. If you look at the raw resources, each engine requires 10 iron plates and 2 steel plates, which is the equivalent of 8 plates. So it needs 18 iron every 10 seconds, but at a speed of 0.75. So that means that each machine consumes 1.35 iron per second. So we have some flexibility on how many of these things we want to build, because even if we had 4 of them, we're only using 5.4 iron ore per second, which isn't that much. But the thing about engines is that they're very dense, resource dense. It's probably our most resource dense component yet that we would want to put on the bus. So maybe keep it in the back of the mind that we could have 10 of them, but for now, how about 5? Half. Let's go halfway and have 5 of them. So let's set these up. Well, we have the ear, so we can just copy this. And it's weird because there could be 2 iron belts right next to each other, but I'm worried that these 2 are going to compete for resources if it's on the same belt, where any belt that's going to turn red first are going to be these belts up here. So I don't know, it might be kind of a waste to not share the same belt, but I kind of see it as a potential bottleneck, so I'm going to have it be separate. So that comes in, and then we're going to need only one iron plate going in, and then one going out. Let's make this the near, since the other one is the regular. And this one's going to need to pull in 4 items every 10 seconds off of one belt, which certainly sounds like a yellow can do. Okay, vehicle equipment is done, which now unlocks the crawler. So let's get that worked on. So, finally used up all those assembly machines. Let's place the power poles here. That looks pretty good. So on this side, motors are going to need to come in, and the engines are going to come out. Again, it needs very little, so one of these should be fine. Since the in is down here, I guess I'll put the in at the bottom as well. And then the top. So we have regular, 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 near, near. And I'm not going to have any kind of chest or anything right now, just because I really don't want a whole bunch of this stuff to be sitting around on a belt. Probably wouldn't hurt for us to extend these guide bricks out, but for now I'll just extend them a little bit. Okay, so iron is 2 spaces away from this one. Is that going to work? Nope. Let's see. That was fine. There we go. And then motors right here. There they are. Oh, but hold on here. Forgot it's motors and steel. So needs to combine. So let's do this. There's that, and then the thing that's going to take a bunch of resource time or processing time is to get steel all the way down here. I've been avoiding moving that steel belt down just because of the vast amount of resources it's going to take, but avoid it no longer. It must be done. There we go. That should be everything necessary to fire the engines up. Here it comes. Oops, those need to be long-handed. Long-handed near right here. Right there. Just put the engines in here so I'm not holding on to them. Looks good. It's just going to slowly chug away at engines. I guess while that's running, could spend some time extending this bus out a little bit. So let's go ham and really extend it out there. Something like that. Trees are gone. And I just need to grab a bunch of bricks. Extend it out. Alright, the crawler's done. Let's just finish with extending the bus here, and then we can build ourselves our first vehicle. Gotta drop some wood off here. Alright, the next step here is to build our first vehicle, but that's gonna have to wait till the next episode. Thanks for watching. See you later.